G'day, Jason the Middle-Aged Gear Junkie here. I get asked quite a lot about what do I think about the Behringer pedals. Now the Behringer pedals have been around for about 20 odd years and they are predominantly clones of Boss pedals but also other brands as well. Now I've only owned one in that time. About 15 years ago I owned an Ultra Tremolo, which I really liked at the time. I thought it was really good. So I decided what I'd do is get hold of as many Behringer pedals that I had the equivalent pedal that they were based on and shoot them out against each other. So I'm going to start this demo off by looking at 3 overdrive pedals, then 3 modulation pedals, and then some delay and reverb at the end. For this first example here, I have the Boss Blues driver and I have the Behringer Blues Overdrive. Now what I'm going to do is set up the Boss for a tone that I would use, and then because these are supposed to be clones, I'm going to set up the Behringer with the exact same settings and then play the exact same piece again and just see how close these Behringer clones are to the pedals that they're based on. Here's my clean sound. I'm using my Fender Deluxe Reverb for all examples. I'm also using my Cort M600 with Seymour Duncans. I have the neck split into a single coil and I have the bridge humbucker, but I'll let you know what pickup I'm using. But at the moment I'm on the neck. So completely clean. All right, here we go. Here's the blues driver. And the Behringer. So the Behringer Blues Overdrive I think sounded very, very similar, if not nearly identical to the Boss BD2. The BD2 is a classic overdrive. It's been around for years and this does an amazing job of replicating that. So yeah, well done. Clean sound again. So this is my TS808 reissue, which to me is my favorite tube screamer that I've ever tried. I've had a few over the years and this is my absolute favorite. But I was absolutely blown away with the Behringer and how close it was. I mean, I'm really lucky that this was not a blind test because I probably would have got it wrong. This is, in sound at least, so close to the Ibanez, yeah, unbelievable. Now we have the Boss OD-3 and the Behringer OD-400 Overdrive. I'm now using my bridge humbucker, which sounds like this. So it's quite powerful, but still not yet distorted. Here we go. And the Behringer Overdrive. All right, now we had the very underrated Boss OD-3 Overdrive. This is a really great rhythm overdrive, and I think that the Behringer once again has come very close. Probably not as close as the other two that we've looked at, but I think the EQ was slightly different. Didn't have quite as much sort of present upper mid-range, but having said that, that's being really nitpicky. It was very, very close. So yeah, I mean, I got this for like $30 secondhand, and I got this for about $100 secondhand. So do the math. Now I have the Boss CS3 compression sustainer and the CS100 compressor sustainer by Behringer. I don't have them both plugged in at the same time because there's a bit of a problem with the Boss one here. For some reason, when it's in bypass, it's sending a bit of a crackle through the signal. It's okay once it's on, but when it's off, it's not working properly. So I'm going to plug them in separately. All right, so here's the CS3. Next, we had the compressors, and once again, I think Behringer did an amazing job replicating the CS3 here. Apologies that this one had a few little issues, but I think you can kind of tell that they are very, very similar. I mean, they felt very similar to play. They sounded very similar. Yeah, they're really close. Now we have the Boss CH1 Super Chorus and the Behringer Ultra Chorus. And the Behringer Ultra Chorus. So on to modulation. So we had the Ultra Chorus here and the CH1, and there was a bit of a difference. This time you could hear it. I felt as though that the Ultra Chorus here was not quite as smooth in terms of its waveform, and I think it had a much steeper vibrato waveform, which gave me a more sort of pronounced chorus sound. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I actually like that. It reminded me a bit of the Arion chorus. But in terms of being a clone, this time I think it was a bit noticeable that they were different. Now I have the Boss BF2 Flanger and the Behringer Ultra Flanger. But first, here's my clean sound. All right, and the Behringer Ultra Flanger. One of the differences between these two pedals is it has a mode selector. Now, just in case you're thinking that I'm on the wrong mode, I'm going to switch modes and play that again. So if you've got to this point in the video and you're starting to think about selling your Boss pedals to buy Behringer pedals, you might want to reconsider because these two were very, very different. So this is a classic BF2 flanger and it sounds great. This is all kinds of wrong. And I think what I've noticed is that when it does its frequency sweep, when it reaches the bottom of the sweep on this doesn't tend to marry up with where it starts. So we have a bit of warble before it sort of finds where it's supposed to be again and goes back up again. So if that makes any sense to you, it sounded awful. You couldn't use it unless you're using it as a sort of special effect. I'm not sure if they're all like that. From the ones that I've heard online, they aren't great. And I would probably give this one a miss. Next we had Tremolo, and for the life of me, I could not get my hands on an Ultra Tremolo for under, say, about $50. Most of these Behringer pedals only cost me between $20 and $35. So I had to actually buy one brand new, which I still haven't even opened yet. So I'm going to do that right now. Now we have the Boss TR2 Tremolo and the Ultra Tremolo. And here's the Ultra Tremolo. So once again, I think that these two pedals were a bit different. So I think that the Behringer here was a bit faster when the dials were set the same, so the speed was a bit quicker, but also I think that this knob here, if you don't know what it does, if you set it in one direction, it's a triangular wave tremolo, and if you set it all the way to the other direction, it's a square wave tremolo, and then in between, you can sort of set it somewhere between triangular and square. Now, I had these both set exactly the same, but this sounded more square to me than the Boss did. So I don't know if that means that you have less scope in the triangular section of the tremolo, but it was definitely noticeable. It was not as smooth as the Boss. I have three other notable pedals here that I think are worth a mention. I have the Chromatic Tuner here, which is a clone of the Boss TU2. I was using this off camera to tune my guitar in between takes. And then I had these two pedals here, and I don't have the Boss equivalents of these two pedals. So there's the Vintage Delay, which is an analog bucket brigade delay, which is based on the Boss DM3. Now, I wasn't going to shell out $300 or so to buy a DM3 just to play for a couple of seconds for you. But I'll give you a listen to what that sounds like. And also the digital reverb here, this is based on the Boss RV5, which is an older Boss digital reverb pedal. And it's pretty good. It's all right, I suppose. This, on the other hand, is really good for the money. And the vintage delay, which I've got set out as a slapback. So what do I think of the Behringer pedals? Well, I'm a bit torn, to tell the truth. They're mass produced in China, they're made out of plastic, and for that reason alone, they will never, ever be cool. It'll never be cool to say, I've got a Behringer blues driver. It's just the way it is. I would never, ever take them on the road. I don't have the confidence in their durability and in their make quality to take them out on the road and rely on them. So, but in terms for the bedroom player, especially for someone who's starting out, I mean, particularly those drive pedals, they sounded so similar to the pedals that they were based on, and only for a fraction of the price. If you're starting out or if you're on a budget, I think that they're really, really good. Also, if you want to try some modulation pedals, for example, you've never had a chorus pedal and you want to know what it's like to dial one in, well, you know what? Instead of blowing $150, $200 on an expensive chorus pedal, you could pick up one of these for about $50 or less, and you'll be in the ballpark, which I think is great. I think that's a great way for people to sort of get introduced to effects and to be able to play around with it and see what they do. I know myself, I've owned a lot of cheaper effects, and then that's inspired me to go out and explore the other side of the equation. So for the money, I think they're really good. Just don't expect them to last if you use them a lot. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. You can support this channel by going to the Middle Aged Gear Junkie store and buying some merchandise. I've left a link in the description for that. You can also join the Middle Aged Gear Junkie Facebook page. Again, I've left a link in the description. Other than that, my name is Jason. I hope you have a wonderful day. See you later.